When was the last time you watched something without consuming it? To look at a film with a critical eye, and not one looking to be meaninglessly distracted. How do you think your perception of that film would change? To not wish to be entertained is inherently against our nature. But is nature truly that absolute? Since, after all, according to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Well, DreamWorks. You really thought you'd won? That the average movie man would just give up? Well, think again! I thought I could quit. I thought I could move on. But I just can't. I can't sit idly by while companies like DreamWorks continue to push their shady business practices and hide the truth from the population.
Why did you make me do this? You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die! Think, Mark!
The B movie is fucking evil. It's not just a simple animated movie, but a social programming tool meant to cripple the population and bake fascist propaganda into the minds of the youth. Let's get started.
You coming?
What? What the fuck?
Listen, I don't need to tell you guys about how fucking weird the relationship between Barry and Vanessa is in this movie. We've all heard it before.
I made a cartoon movie about bees you may have watched as a child. If any of you felt slightly uncomfortable about the sexual undertones in the relationship between Barry the bee and Vanessa, the florist who saves his life, I would like to apologize for that now.
But did you ever stop and think of the greater context of this bestiality subplot? I did. I don't know why, but I did. Anyways, you don't need me to tell you how absurd this shit is. But once you take a step back, it gets even worse. And it all boils down to one man. Ken.
No, I got you doing it for clout, making him a cuck. Yeah, making him a cuck.
Now, if you watch my videos, you know I love defending the villains. But I wouldn't even classify Ken as a villain. In the character's introduction, he's on a tennis date with his girlfriend. A tennis date! Oh, and what's his next scene? He's doing a job interview where he saves a guy from eating a chip with a bee on it, despite the interviewer clearly ridiculing his resume 10 seconds prior.
Got all my special skills, even my top 10 favorite movies.
What's your number one? Star Wars?
But what? Just because he's loud and competitive, we immediately gotta treat him like a villain? I don't think so. Does he have some minor anger issues?
You can just start packing up, honey, because I believe you're about to...
Maybe. Does he deserve to get cucked by an insect with the lifespan of a fucking month? No! And don't even get me started on Yogurt Night!
Why is Yogurt Night so difficult?
The second Barry enters Ken's home, he does nothing but try to systematically unravel his life and relationships. He sits in his spot.
That's where I usually sit. Right there.
Drinks his wine, steals his girlfriend, and literally sues the human race. This motherfucker is worse than Lightning McQueen. And then, Ken rightfully tries to put a stop to Barry.
How do you like the smell of flames?
And is then kicked out of his house and dumped by his girlfriend. But what does this have to do with the point of the video? I'm glad you asked. Vanessa's relationship with Barry will undeniably be a short one. With bees having a lifespan of a month, if the movie generously took place over the course of about 2 weeks, he's got max 2 more weeks left to live after the story's done. Hey, so while I was looking for clips for this segment, I found this little number.
Yeah, 3 days of grade school, 3 days of high school,
Those were so awkward.
3 days of college. I'm glad I took off one day in the middle and just hitchhiked around the hive.
You did come back different.
So with this new info, that means that with the stuff I said before, he's probably got like a couple days. Alright, back to the video. But Vanessa still dumps her clearly long-term boyfriend for cheap thrills and short-term pleasure. With the recent rise of scroll-based social media and declining attention spans being a major problem in modern society, Barry and Vanessa's relationship is a clear dog whistle to program people to further prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term health. And I'm not even going to get into how stories like this normalize adultery and destroy traditional family dynamics. Now, one could argue that everyone is free to make their own decisions on who they choose to spend time with. But what I can't forgive is this movie's clear and disgusting hatred for the middle class.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
In the movie, the entire hive is owned and controlled by Hunnics, while all the bees happily fill their roles and are proud of being worked to death, like Barry's dad, who proudly tells stories of how his work caused him chronic pain.
Dad, I remember you coming home some night so overworked your hands were still stirring. You couldn't stop them.
Son, let me tell you something about stirring. You grab that stick and you just move it around and you stir it around. You get yourself into a rhythm. It's a beautiful thing.
The beekeepers are portrayed as comically evil, despite humans having no indication that the animals are sentient due to the no talking rules established by the bees.
Bee law number 1, absolutely no talking to humans.
And the hive is portrayed as a utopia, despite it clearly being a totalitarian ethno-state where inbreeding is normalized.
That girl was hot.
She's my cousin.
She is?
Yes, we're all cousins.
Right, you're right.
And the military has complete control over who is permitted to leave. But you might be thinking, isn't Barry's whole character about critiquing this work culture since he escapes the hive and seeks justice for the mistreatment of his race? Damn, I guess you got me. Except for the fact that Barry's quest for individuality and independence is the reason for every bad thing that happens in the second half of the movie.
Whose fault do you think that is?
You know, I'm gonna guess bees.
Bees?
Specifically me.
So after the bees get their honey back, production of honey ceases, and the bees take a well-deserved vacation. But oh no, without the honey production, the plants aren't getting pollinated, leading to all the flora around the world dying. That makes no fucking sense! First off, with Barry's lifespan being less than a month, it's literally impossible for every plant to die in that short amount of time. Oh, and don't forget about butterflies, moths, flies, beetles, hummingbirds, and fucking bats who contribute to pollination. But what does this mean? I'll give you a hint. Humans. The death of the plants in Central Park was due to an ecological, terroristic scare tactic to force the bees back into work. Oh, but the government wouldn't do something so drastic for the sake of control over the means of production and money, right? Anyways, the companies in this movie clearly don't shy away from shady practices, like the main lawyer for the humans literally rage baiting one of the bees to sting him to help win the case against the bees, and acting extremely unprofessional and dirty throughout the entire movie.
What exactly is your relationship to that woman?
Wait a minute, this isn't about...
her little bed bug?
You're out of order! You're out of order! The whole trial is out of order!
So it's not out of the question that these same companies would destroy the environment and pin it on the bees to force them back to work. But if this movie is propaganda, why would the big companies expose themselves for doing similar practices in real life? They do it all the time. Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, P. Diddy, all have been historically used as sacrificial lambs to fool the populace into thinking we are fighting against the elites, while they have sacrifices in Bohemian Grove, continue the same practices which they outwardly condemn, and take Humpty Dumpty out of the Puss in Boots movie. But average movie man, the bees win the case and everything is fixed in the end, right? Well, would you look at the time? Through all the chaos, every single character and world rules are left exactly as they were at the start. The bees return to work in the hive and are content with being worked until they die again.
Anybody needs to make a call, now's the time. I got a feeling we'll be working late tonight.
The humans once again have access to honey despite not paying for it. Hunnex still has full control over the hive's economy, and the most important thing of all, Barry becomes a pollen jockey, regressing him back to where he was at the start of the movie, a mindless slave working for the hive while having the illusion of control over his own life. So what? What can the audience take away from this movie? Chase short-term pleasure instead of pursuing long-term goals. Don't fight the corporations because they know what's best for you, and if you do, they'll just force you into submission, and accept that you have to work until you die, and wanting to have time for yourself is selfish. Well, DreamWorks, you might have everyone else fooled, but I see right through you! Now to you all. Are you gonna accept this? Or are you going to take a stand? How much are we willing to take? How long until we finally decide to have control over ourselves? If you want to liberate yourself, to have the courage to face impossible odds, take my hand. And like and subscribe. This shit took me so long to make. Hey, so, Average Movie Man here, back with another post-video yap session. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I worked really hard on it. Bear with me on some of the editing. I kind of had to reteach myself after a year of not uploading. But, yeah, hopefully I'm here to stay. I already got a new video lined up. Things have just been crazy this past year with work and all the stuff going on in my life. But I want to keep working at this, and I want to see how far I can take it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.